On Friday, October 13, 1972, a nightmare became reality when a Uruguayan plane carrying 45 young rugby players crashed in the Andes Mountains. For those who survived the initial impact, the next 72 days became a relentless battle against hunger and freezing temperatures as low as minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit.
Cuando caímos,
When we crashed, 16 people died instantly, leaving 29 survivors. In the following nights and days, more lives were lost. Then on October 29th, an avalanche buried 8 more. The remaining 3 succumbed to infected wounds.
Por heridas que tenían que se les infectó.
Among the 16 survivors was 19-year-old Gustavo Zerbino, who had just started his first 3 months of medical school. He became the group's doctor, caring for his friends until their final moments. As the days passed, the group became more and more hungry, and with no food, they had to do the unthinkable. They decided to consume the bodies of those who had died. Gustavo took it upon himself to collect the belongings of the deceased, determined to return them to their families in Uruguay. He promised each one that he would deliver them to their loved ones, just as he did for his friend Gustavo Nikolic.
Hay una carta de Gustavo Nikolic que le dice a la madre.
There is a letter from Gustavo Nikolic in which he writes to his mother and his girlfriend, "From the depths of my being, we prayed to God that this day would not come. But it has arrived, and we must accept it with courage and faith. Faith, because if the bodies are here, it is because God has placed them here, and today we begin to feed ourselves from them. And if the day comes when I can sustain my friends with my body, I would do so with great joy."
For Gustavo, despite the horror of the situation, he says Our Lady was always there with them in those snowy mountains. At night, when temperatures dropped and the young men sheltered inside the plane wreckage, huddling together to keep warm, the only sound breaking the silence was them praying the rosary.
De noche, durante 73 días.
At night, for 73 nights, we prayed the rosary every night for 3 reasons. First, to thank God that we were alive, and to ask the Virgin for strength. Suddenly, during the day, we thanked her. 8 had died in the avalanche, but we still gave thanks, because being alive was already a reason to be grateful. There were 16 of us, and we formed a circle. Every 5 minutes, someone had to pray the rosary out loud, because if you fell asleep, you would freeze to death.
On October the 21st, the search efforts were called off, but even in the depths of despair, the rugby team never lost hope.
Gustavo, did you have any conversations with God during these days?
Todo el día, pero teníamos una comunicación.
All day long, but we had direct communication. God was the friend who gave you water, who massaged your feet, who embraced you, the love. In that place on the mountain, you are so small, and the mountain is so big that you can feel the presence of God.
60 days after the crash, Fernando Parrado and Roberto Canesa made the decision to leave the group and search for help, even though the chances were so high they would die along the way. After 10 days of stumbling through the snow, they finally encountered a man who came to their aid. And on December the 22nd, 72 days after the crash, the Chilean Air Force sent 3 helicopters to the valley where the survivors were located. And the news of their rescue spread across the world.
How have these years been since then?
Maravillosos.
Wonderful. Every day when I wake up, I have 1,440 minutes to do whatever I want. I am so grateful. Everything I do in this world is a reminder of my friends who physically died but live inside me, and every person in front of me is a brother. That is why life is an excitement and a great gift.
In Madrid, Paola Flynn, EWTN News In Depth.